Okay, so Luna did amazing today. So freaking proud of her, and she's precious.
Come
This
on.
video is pointless, but I added
Good
in for a little
boy.
bit of filler so
Good
that I
girl.
could kind of explain some things that I did with the leash, because that was our primary focus today, was this leash work. Okay,
Good
so
job.
I tried a few things at the beginning to kind of just get a feel. I put her on leash a very short period of time last time, and I didn't have too much to go off. So this time what I did was I tried her with her leash and a harness that I had, and then her leash on a flat collar,
Does not want to play with
and then
you.
a leash with a smaller buckle on her harness, and then a leash with a
Good
smaller buckle on
girl.
a flat
You
collar,
partied.
and kind of got some information. What I learned was
Come on.
it doesn't seem to matter if it's on a harness or a flat collar. She doesn't like it, so that is not a factor here. Sometimes it is, it's not with her.
Oh,
So,
Twiggy, you should be running.
For the rest of the day, I just worked with her flat collar like
Bad
you guys
foot.
do, because that's
Come on, Twig.
she doesn't have a preference. And the thing I did notice though is the leash with the smaller buckle worked a lot better. She was a lot more confident with the smaller buckle. Not to say you can't ever use this one. I just think maybe a smaller buckle while you're getting her used to it, and then moving up to hers with the bigger buckle. Okay, so here she is with her harness. You know, same thing you guys are seeing. She just freezes a lot. She doesn't really want to do too much. If she tried to pull, she would freeze more. I was really kind of having to treat her and convince her to come with me pretty much the whole time. A lot of times when I speed the video up like this, I'll turn the volume off just because it sounds crazy. And I'm not really saying anything important. But here she is here, and she's doing pretty well, considering. So it's all the work that you guys have done with her for not like freaking out has obviously worked, because she's not freaking out. She just doesn't like it.
Good job.
Okay, so here's her with her
job.
collar her
Good
leash
job.
on her collar. And like I said,
Good girl.
it's about the same. We're seeing the same movements,
yes.
the same behaviors. Nothing's really different there. Whatever I'm working on with her with this collar to build her confidence, I'm really encouraging her sniffing, and I'm giving her
Good
time
girl.
to come with me. Obviously, there's a difference between pausing and sniffing, and freezing and not wanting to walk. So if she's pausing to sniff, I give her as much time as she needs. Pausing to walk is a different story altogether.
Good girl.
Okay, so here she is on that collar with a smaller buckle, and on her leash.
Let's go. Good job. Yes.
She's a little more alert,
Okay,
but
good girl.
she's still unsure. She doesn't love it.
going.
It's not like
We're going.
instant, like,
Good
oh my God, I'm
girl.
totally fine on a leash. But I just noticed a little bit more alertness, a little more,
Good.
I wouldn't say alertness. She's always very alert outside. A little more
Good job. Good girl.
ease,
Very
a little more
good.
comfort. But she's still, I'm having to, encourage her
Good girl.
and really be slow with her and patient. But she does pretty good. She's
What
seeing
is that
things. She's a little
sound?
unsure.
What is
And
that
anytime she sees
sound?
something that I think is scary,
Girl.
I'll kind of freeze, let her see it, let her kind of experience it, and then I'll mark and treat her. Oh, that's that.
job,
There's a
Luna.
bite coming, so I give her some treats, praise her. It's okay, that's good. I want her to look at it. I don't want to avoid the scary thing, but I want her to see it and associate it with positive things, positive voice, positive treats. All treats are positive to her, but positive voice and treats and just good things. If she's really terrified, I won't sit there and make her look at it. But if she's just slightly unsure, I like to sit back and let her see it as I treat and as I talk her through it. And I'm not going to pull her or,
Good girl.
rush her if she's
Good job.
trying to take in some new sights, like this guy on a bike. But she does really nice. She's obviously concerned, but she's just interested, and it's great.
Can you run? Oh, you can run.
The other thing I was trying to avoid is
good,
pulling
let's
her
go.
at all. So the
Let's
leash
go.
was
Good job.
pretty
yeah.
tight there, and I try to slacken it up
Right. I
and
think you did it.
then give her a call. If I'm calling her while pulling,
Girl.
it's kind of negating each other, right? She doesn't want to be pulled, and the more you pull, the more she's going to dig her heels in. If I'm calling her while she's digging her heels in, she isn't going to
Very
respond to
good,
my
very
encouragement.
good.
So anytime I'm trying to encourage her and trying to get her towards me, I definitely want there to be a decent bit of slack in the leash. Obviously, if she's pulling, I'm going to stay still and not try to create that slack, because I don't want her to be like right here. She's pulling off to the side. I'm going to stand my ground, and I'm not going to follow her over there right now. Sometimes I will, but right now I wasn't going to go up in that yard. But if I'm calling her and I'm encouraging her and I want her to walk forward, oh, and we're taking a poop. Good job. If I'm wanting her to move forward, I won't be pulling as I call her, if that makes sense.
Very good.
Okay, I think another really awesome thing to teach her is a let's go cue. So a let's go cue isn't something that I'm going to use every time she's frozen. It's something I'm going to use when I'm turning positions. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear me, but right here, I'm going to say, let's go. And as she walks into me, she gets marked and treated. So what I use this for is any time that we see, if it's a dog that's reactive, something scary, or that's something that they're scared of, obviously not something really scary, but like a dog, I'll turn directions and be like, let's go. And the dog has that cue to follow me. For her, we can use it if she's frozen sometimes. In the beginning, I wouldn't use it every time she's frozen because I don't want to just have to be telling her to let's go the whole time. But it's a good way to, every once in a while, snap her out of it. I use it for my dogs to change positions in stores once they're in some heel work. So once we get really good with heel work, I'll use a let's go to indicate to them that I'm at a go the opposite way. I also use it for off-leash stuff. When we go hiking with Boom or Penny, or Twiggy, if I turn direction and they're way up ahead of me, I'll say, let's go. And they'll know she's going a different direction, find her, see where she's going, and follow her. So I use it for a couple different things there. I'm really terrible at explaining things on this video, so I'll clarify more next time I see you. But that's essentially what I use it for. And the only thing I'm doing to teach her is to be walking, and when I change positions, just saying, let's go, and then yes, treat. A lot of other behaviors, we're going to try to capture it, we're going to lure it, we're going to do a bunch of different things to like really solidify these behaviors. This one is really simple. I'm just saying it, and as she comes into me naturally, she gets it. Again, I wouldn't overuse this. I wouldn't say it the entire time on a walk. I wouldn't say it every time she freezes, and I wouldn't say it when I'm pulling on her, but sprinkle it in. Okay, here's my favorite. So this is at the end of the day, after lots of work, and look at this little girl. We went around the whole block, and look at her. Bop, 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 bop. I'm just walking, and I'm happy, and she's confident. Look at her go, boo, 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 doo. She did so good. She only thrashes once, and I get that on video, and it's a little later on the video. And she responded really well to the way that I handled it. I'm so great. I handled it perfectly. No. My first attempt of how to handle it, because there's many ways to handle dogs thrashing on the end of the leash, she responded to great right away. So it was amazing. Sorry, Kaylee's videoing for me, so it's a little jerky. She's actually pretty good. Okay. I think it's up here. Okay, so up here, she's going to walk into the street. And I don't say anything. As long as she's moving forward, it's fine. I don't care. I mean, please don't go in the street when you're older, but, like, that's not what we're doing right now. But she's going to walk in the street, and I'm not going to go in the street with her, so she is going to start thrashing because there's that tension. It's the same thing you're seeing. Once she feels that restraint is when she, like, kind of freaks out. Okay, so when she does that, here, it's going to be right here. So here she goes. And when she does that, she starts getting real bad, I freeze. My body freezes. I'm no longer moving forward, and I simply lure her in with a treat. I give her the treat. I walk a few steps, and then she gets another treat, and then we keep on going. But she did so good. I'm so proud.
Yes.
Okay, here's us working on Leave It. It's a really good skill to have. Is it crucial or super important? No. But I think that a lot of her energy is going to be best released with training instead of physical exercise. Obviously, she needs lots of physical exercise. She's a dog, a puppy. I get it. But you're not going to need to basically walk her or run her until she passes out and is exhausted. A lot of her energy can be taken out with training. So here I'm teaching her Leave It. I'm holding my hand out, and it has a treat in it. And when she pulls her head away, I mark and treat. So she's sniffing, she's still interested.
Yes.
She pulls her head all the way away, and I mark and treat. It's bet the first few were better to explain on, but I have to explain on a video that I'm supposed to be explaining on, and I don't do good with this part. But all I'm doing is hand out, full of treats. My other hand has treats in it too. When she looks away, I mark and treat with
Leave it.
the other hand. Okay? So here she goes.
Leave it.
I'm not saying anything right now. I'm just letting her figure it out.
Yes.
Yes. Treat.
Susan.
That's all I'm doing. And then we're going to start adding the Leave It
Leave
cue.
it. Yes.
This is probably a little too early to add the Leave It cue, but she was doing amazing. So I started adding it. You can kind of feel it out and see what you want to do.
Leave it.
But
Yes.
there's that. Now, initially when I start adding the cue, I'm going to start saying it when she's already
Find it.
pulling her head away. I'm not going to stick my hand out and say, leave it. I think I do it once
Leave
on
it.
accident.
Yes.
Which is not good training, but I messed up.
Good
But I'm going to stick my
girl.
hand out. I'm going to let her sniff it and whatever. And when I see her start to look like she's going to turn her head,
Leave
that's
it.
when I'm going to mark and treat.
Yes.
So right there, she marks and treat,
Find it.
and she does great. Eventually, we will do
Good
this with an open
girl.
hand. I'll show you a little bit
Leave
of
it. Yes.
and a little bit of that in a second. And what I was going to do is just show you
Leave
what
it.
the next
Yes.
step is. And she actually did it. It was a fluke, and I wouldn't jump straight to that. I would still stay
sit.
with the closed hand. But I was so proud of her for getting it, and you'll see it in a minute.
Oh, who's barking? He sit. Yes, that was so good. Stop being so cute. It's gonna kill me. Find it.
Oh, and here I'm just throwing some sits in there
Find it.
just to like mix
Good
it up, just not
job.
fry her brain on one activity. That's all that is.
Yes. Good job. Find it. Good job. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes.
Okay, so here is the next step that I was gonna tell you. So you open your hand, and you don't say anything. You just keep closing it, and then I opened it. I need her to see it. Close it when she gets too close.
Leave it.
I open it again. You can't see it, but
Yes.
she
Good
looks at it,
girl.
and
Oh
then
my
looked
God!
back
I don't even
at
know you
me.
saw that.
and that's what she
Oh
got
my
reward
God!
for.
Let me get all of
So that's just the next step. I wouldn't focus on that right now, and I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's just
Okay, go find it.
when she's ready. I'll do it again. But she did amazing.
On camera.